make a copy so that you have this for later reference. File, make a copy here, and then the entire presentation, and then that'll dump right into your Google Drive. So first off, my name is Rachel Fambro. Woo! I am the virtual learning coordinator, so just a giant nerd. So our norms for today: mute, use the chat. I'm going to ask for a lot of times for you to use the chat. Also be patient and positive, because as you guys know, teaching virtually is new for all of us. So patience and positivity towards ourselves and others goes a long way. Also, our core priorities are here. Today, we're going to focus on building a culture of collective efficacy. Together, we are better. And when we're working together as a team, we make bigger impacts. And also culture of teaching and learning. Today, we're going to talk about how we can leverage this tool to accelerate learning for our students, especially after they've been off this last year a little bit of time, and how we can help them achieve excellence in the science standards. And so that leaves us into our BCSD vision and mission. So our vision is actually cool. It's not one of those long, boring ones that nobody reads. It's a short, boring one that nobody reads. No, that's just a joke. Kidding. So we will be the model of educational excellence, equity, and innovation. Simple, yet powerful, right? That's what we're up to. And then why are we doing this? So that we can educate all of our students to the highest levels of academic excellence to become collaborative, creative, and critical thinkers. And so how are we going to do that today? Well, our learning intention is to give our students access to Zingy Learning, and we will know we're successful when we can set up our accounts and assign some tasks. That's to log in. Is first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to zingylearning.com. And once we get to Zingy Learning, we're going to select sign up. And then after we select sign up, we're going to select I'm a teacher. When we select I'm a teacher, a prompt is going to come up that says school code, and we'll type in that code we just wrote down. Then after you type in your code, it'll prompt you to log in using Google to set up your account, and it will say your account was successfully created. Now log in, and then you're going to log in with Google. So let me model that for you. To sign in, I'm going to go to zingylearning.com. Once I'm at Zingy Learning, I'm going to go to sign up, and I'm a teacher. Once I select I'm a teacher, I'll type in that school code and select enter. Remember that Google icon comes, select it, and then it prompts you to log in. Now log in with Google. So then I can log in. So Angela, what steps should I take to log into Zingy Learning? Would you walk me through it? It's just a chance for everyone to hear it one more time. You can even type it if you'd like.
Okay, so you go to zingylearning.com, you click sign in, you press in your, I'm a teacher, and then enter your school code. Then you're going to click on the Google icon, and then you're going to sign in using your account.
You got it. And then once I sign in, it's going to take me here. And what should I do?
Log in with Google.
You got it. All right. So I'm going to give you guys a chance to get in and get going. So when you're ready and you're all logged in, just let me know virtually. So right now we're on the home tab. And in the home tab, basically there's not much we can do here, but there's a few resources that are here. And I just want to point them out to you. We're not going to go through them today. I just want you to know that they're here. If you want to look at an example of a student account, it's on your home page. If you want to look at a student instructional video, it's also on the home page. A suggested order of progressions on the home page and instructions. So if you click any of those orange bits of text, it will open up to a new web page, and it will give you how-to videos. It will give you the order of progression. It will show you a video for how students can use the program. And it will also allow you to see what students see when they log in. Is to set up our class. So when we set up our class, we need to put a class in there. We need to say, hey, I want you to look at this grade level worth of science. And we want to add a co-teacher because sometimes we might want to use co-teachers. So I'm going to show you how to do that. We're going to go to Home, Setup, Courses Assigned today. So we're going to follow these menu items. So now we're going to go to Setup. And once we're in Setup, we'll click Setup and Add a Class. A window will appear and say, hey, do you want to add a class? And we'll say, okay. And so once you see that, you'll have to then give your class a name and select Update Class Name. And from there, you can add a co-teacher, you can update your course settings, and you can get a class code. So I'll show you how to do that. So if I model for you, I'm going to go back to Zingy Learning, and I'm at home, so I'm going to just slide on over to Setup, and I'm going to select Add a Class. The window appears that says, are you sure you want to add a class? And I say, okay. Once I do, I give my class a name. And I have to remember to select Update Class Name. Once I update my class name, it will appear in this list of classes. So from now on out, if I go to Setup, it'll show up in my list of classes. So I want to model for you one more time. To set up a class, I slide over to Setup. And if I already have a class, I can choose it. But if I don't, I can select Add a Class. A window will appear that says, are you sure you want to add a class? And I will say, okay. I'll give the class a name and select Update Class. From there, my class will now show up in my list of classes under Setup. So, are you guys feeling comfortable with those steps? Do you want to give it a try on your own? All right, so you guys have gone through and you got a class in there. So how do we update the features of this class? Well, the first thing we want to do is we want to go to course settings. Why is that? Because our students can actually see all grade levels if they want to. But when they log in, we want them to see the grade level we're teaching. So if I teach third grade, I'm going to select third grade. And I'm going to select Update This Class. Once I select Update This Class, I'm going to go to Back to Setup, and I'm back to that class I was originally at. So just going to select your class and select Update This Class. Once you update this class, the next thing you might want to do is go to Co-Teachers. When you go to Co-Teachers, you'll see a list of everyone who has signed up for an account for Zingy Learning, just like you at your school site. If you want one of the people to be your co-teacher, put your mouse above the X, click it, it changes to a check mark, and then just like before, you have to select Update. So again, you're going to go to Co-Teachers, find one of the co-teachers that has signed up from your school, put your mouse above their name or above the X, change it to a check and select Update. Now the last part is class code. So we got to get a code to our kids because they're going to follow the same steps we did to get logged in, but instead of using a school code, they're going to use your class code. So for that one, I go to class code. I go up and unlock the code, copy it, and paste it into my Google Classroom. So to get the code, I click on class code, go up, unlock it, copy the code, and put it in Google Classroom. So Cecilia Cortez, will you walk me through those steps? I go to setup. I already added my class. So what do I need to do if I want to add, or if I want to change it so that my kids see my grade level when they log in? Course
The course
settings.
settings,
Yep.
change it to your grade level,
Uh-huh.
and
And
then
what,
update this class.
you got it. Now, what if I want to add a co-teacher?
You click co-teachers. and then click on whoever you want. Update.
You got it. And then lastly, I got to get that code to my kids. What do I do?
Class code.
Mm-hmm.
Unlock this class.
Mm-hmm.
Copy it and put it in Google Classroom.
You got it. All right. So it's your guys' turn to get your class code, your course settings, and your code teachers all set up. And so now we're moving to navigating the student experience, which I changed this to get students in, because that's really what it is. I think navigate the student experience is a fancy way of saying get students in. So I'm changing that because I want to just to say what it means. Get students in. So how do we do that? Well, students are going to follow the same steps we followed. So feel free to use slide number 20 to help your kiddos get logged in. So it has those screenshots of what they need to do. And so I know the person who designed this program said she normally has the students do the online learning part asynchronously or independently, but this part she does with them and walks them through it. So students will go to the Clever login. They'll scroll down and they'll find a part that says outside of Clever, and that's Zingy, and it'll take them to Zingy Learning. It's really just a way to get them to Zingy Learning. And once they get there, they follow the steps you followed. Sign up. I'm a student, and then now they put in the class code and select sign up with their Google account. So I'll show you what that looks like. Students are going to log in, and when they log into their Google Chrome, they usually see something like this. Once they do, they'll need to go to Clever Login, or excuse me, well, they might have to do this. And once they get here, if they scroll down, see there's some of these apps that are outside of Clever. Zingy is one of them. So they'll select Zingy and they'll follow the same steps you did. Sign up. I'm a student. Enter the class code and enter. So just the same exact steps. So one more time, they're going to go to the splash page, select Clever, scroll down to where it says Zingy, and then they'll select Sign Up, I'm a student, and enter the class code just like you did. So that's how the students sign up. And I'm not a student, so I won't model that for you, but just know that on slide 20, the directions are there for the kiddos. Also on slide 21 is a video. If you click on that video, it'll say, watch this video on YouTube. So to do that, you just have to click on this link that says, watch this video on YouTube, and it'll give the kids directions on how to navigate through Zingy Learning. So I'm going to stay in the getting students in section real fast because I want to show you the next menu item over, which is courses, because you as a teacher can see what students see. So if I go to courses, what I will see is all of the units in my grade level and all of the lessons in each unit. And every lesson has a lesson, that's the book, a question mark, which by the way, the question mark is the quiz. If you want to see the quiz, you can as the teacher. But guess what the pencil is? Guided questions, which is kind of confusing because wouldn't you think the question mark was the questions and the pencil was the quiz? No, it's flip-flop. So the question is the quiz and the pencils are guided questions. So then what are these two icons at the top here? Well, see that little bubbly thing? That is like a long PDF because it has an activity for each one of those lessons and some questions. So we know sometimes it's hard to get a hold of an activity that only uses a few items and have questions for it. To design that takes some time. So it's done here, and we can use that as a launching pad to design our learning experience. So I'm going to go into a little bit more depth about those four things: the lesson, the quiz, the guided questions, which is a pencil, and that activity. So The lessons and the quiz are computer activities, so they interact with Zingy Learning. The guided questions and the activity are PDFs. So this is where our lesson and our quiz, our students could do asynchronously. And after the lesson, they could even answer the questions for guided questions, and they could turn that into you for their check for understanding. Now, the activity that should be teacher guided, so that you might do in class. So, lesson and quiz asynchronously, guided questions you can turn into Google Classroom of evidence of your learning, and your activities are teacher led. So if you click on all of those, they're all hyperlinked. So if I click on activities, I chose 5th grade as my example, but it depends on your grade level. Here are the activities. So for the most part, these things are very easy to get a hold of, right? Conduct the following experiment. Fill a cup of water, mark the height, place the cup at the window. We can do that. Do it together. Did the level of water increase? Why was there a change in the level of water? Make a drawing. We could even do this and then put the kids in breakout rooms with maybe sentence frames and ask them to share a slide deck or a Google drawing and do it together. So each lesson has an activity. Add ice cubes to a bowl. Over the next 20 minutes, observe the conditions of the bowl. Describe your observations. Make a drawing to describe what happened. So since these are for the activity, or since these are for the whole unit, they show up by activities. So it's 12:46. Go ahead and go to courses and look through that material and see what might be helpful for you. So go ahead and go to Zingy Learning, choose courses, and choose your grade, and look through the material to see what's helpful to you. Good job. We're going to move to assigned content, and we're just going to slide on over to the menu item to the right. So all we have to do to assign content is just go to assign, select the class that we're going to assign for, and choose a date that we're going to assign it, the date that it will show up for students, and the due date. Does a due date mean it goes away when after the due date? No, it's mostly symbolic for you and for the students. But once we select the assign date and the due date, we want to select update class. Once we select update class, that'll push out that due date to everyone. Well, what does that look like for the kids? Well, we can slide on down to student view after we assign it to see what it looks like for kids. And once we do that, we can see the things we are assigned are under due dates. They can still see the rest, but the ones you want them to work on are under due dates. What if they don't do it in the due date time? Does it go away? No, it's mostly symbolic, but they know that that's what you're wanting them to work on. Once they click that unit, it will take them to the unit and they will see a diamond next under lesson, a diamond under assignment because they can see both of those, and the date that it's due. And so when do they actually see that diamond under quiz? Well, they have to go through the entire lesson. At the end of the lesson, they click the end, take quiz, and then they get a little diamond there. So I'm going to model this for everybody. So if I go back to Zingy Learning, right now, guys, we've only used those 4 menu items. So even if you forget all the stuff we said today, just poke around those 4 menu items at the top, and that should help. So I'm going to go to assign, choose the class I want to assign for. So once I get here to my class, I can choose a publish date. So I'm going to go ahead and show it up to yesterday, and the date due, which will be next Friday. Maybe I even want to assign lesson 2. I'm going to make that shown, and it's also due next Friday. And I can do that for all of the units. Once I say my assign date and my publish date and my due date, I'm going to update this class. After I update this class, slide on down to student view, And now I see what my kids see. When they click on due date, they can click on the unit, they can go to the assignment, they can go to the lesson, because maybe you want them to do the assignment or maybe you want them to do the lesson. So one more time, to assign content, I just go over to assign, choose my class, create a date for published and create a date for due date, and update this class. As soon as you update this class, you can see the student view. So I want to give you a chance to do that. So now it's your turn. Let's go ahead and revisit our steps today. Did we sign into Zingy Learning or sign up? Yep. Did we set up our class? We did. Did we get our students in there? At least find out how we do it. Yes, we did. And did we assign content? Yay! Woohoo! All right. So did we learn how to give our students access to Zingy Learning? We did. Did we set up our account and assign student tasks? Yes. If you learned something new, raise your hand. If your hand's raised, pat yourself on the back because you're amazing. Oh. All right. So in the chat, will you put what's the one thing that you were happy to have learned today? What are you glad to know about? What are you excited to use? How are you going to try this with your students? Just a 1 or 2 sentence or word response. How to assign. Yay, Monica. So while you guys are putting that in the chat, I just want to point you to the resources page. So on the resources page, it is slide 36. On the resources page, there's those Zingy Learning codes for BCSD in case you want to use this with your teacher friends and show them how to use it. How to set up your class. It's just a PDF. How to set up your student accounts. And this Zingy Learning PD is a recording that actually takes you to the video of the owner and creator of this program doing an hour-long PD. I don't know if that was helpful, but just wanted to let you know it's there. Also, here is your Zingy Learning with your 3rd grade correlations for your science standards. So you can see here, if we go over Unit 1, we're hitting these science standards for 3rd grade. If we hit Unit 2, we're going over these science standards for 3rd grade. So on slide 37, you'll have those correlation documents. If you're doing 3rd grade, 4th grade, 5th grade, if you've got to put those in your lesson plans or you want to make sure to hit a certain scope and sequence. And so those resources are there. If you need any help, you can call the nerds. That is us. We are your EdTech folks. We can help you. If you have a question particularly about Zingy Science, that is being headed up by Holly Gonzalez. And so here is her information. And with that being said, if you will please go ahead and fill out our evals, because that's how we know what you need, what you like, what helped, what didn't help. And with that being said, we got you out by 1. Barely on time.